In recent years, well, let's get to our discussion. Yes, in recent years, the Corporate Affairs Commission has embarked on a series of initiatives aimed at simplifying business registrations, procedures, and enhancing overall ease of doing business in the country. By leveraging technology, implementing online registration platforms, and adopting best practices in corporate governance, the CAC is driving a transformation towards a more business-friendly environment that encourages entrepreneurship and economic development. These efforts align with government's broader agenda to attract investment, stimulate economic growth, and improve the country's competitiveness on the global stage. But what more do we need to know? We have the right person in the house live and being joined by the Registrar General, Chief Executive Officer of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Mr. Hussaini Ashak Mogaji. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tola.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Tolu. Yes. Tolu. Lawyer and politician. Great one. I was looking at your profile. Interesting stuff. A lot of work is going on in the CAC, like we discussed behind the scene. But let's look at how you met the CAC and where we are at the moment.
Well, my name is Hussaini Ashak Mogaji, as you earlier mentioned. The Corporate Affairs Commission is a creation of law, saddled with the responsibility of registering businesses in Nigeria and registering associations in Nigeria. And we have a class of businesses we register in Nigeria. We register company limited by shares. We register public companies. We register business names. We register limited partnership. And we register limited liability partnership. And we register incorporated trustees. This is the scope of our work. As we are aware that Corporate Affairs Commission is a creation of the law. When I assumed office on the 13th October, I got my appointment 13th October 2023, but I resumed office on 16th October 2024. I met a Corporate Affairs Commission in the performance of the staff was too down, their morale was down. So after having sat with my management committee now, we review the situation on ground. We identify the problem. We now understood that the problem is the issue of policy. The previous policy, how the previous administration handled the issue of the welfare of the staff. We made agitation of the stagnation of issue of career progression, issue of the welfare and whatever. So as the God have it, we are able to summon that. To this moment now, we are able to meet up with the issue of promotion of the staff. No one is now owing anything. We are not owing anything.
Good.
We paid up to date. Wow. We paid all the entitlement, all the exit benefit of the staff that left CAC, we made up to date. Issue of welfare in terms of intervention, in terms of transportation, we had CAC intervention on it. So as the God have it now, the morale of the staff is back, fully ready to do the work in line with the vision and mission of the CAC.
That's an interesting way to start this conversation, because issues around ease of doing business sometimes surround registration. And this has been a long-term thing where everyone believes that one day Nigeria will be able to register a business maybe in one day or in minutes, not even one day. So where are we with regards to that? Tell us about registering a business at this time.
Corporate Affairs Commission is one of the pillars of ease of doing business in the country.
True.
Corporate Affairs Commission now, we now deploy our services now to online, totally online, 100%. We've migrated from manual registration. We started registering businesses in Nigeria right from 1920 to date. But from 2021, the Corporate Affairs Commission had a total migration to online activities. As it is now, anywhere you are in the world, you can access our portal, cac.gov.ng. You register your businesses within 3 hours. If it's a business registration, you can achieve it within 24 hours, barring any queries as a result of the lack of proper documentation by the customer or whatever. But you can achieve registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission now within 24 hours. Wow. Because of that efficiency is there. It's 100% automation. We automate it, and you don't need anyone. You can do it on your own when it comes to business registration. Wow. This is how we achieve in terms of ease of doing business in Nigeria. We simplify at the Corporate Affairs Commission. Everything is simplified. In fact, it is my own desire now. I've already initiated a movement where registration at the end of this year, it can be achieved within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because we are deploying AI. Currently now we have what we call corporate CRP, company registration portal.
Okay.
So we're determined to change the present setting of company registration portal to intelligence company registration portal, where you just, when you make your application, is the computer will respond to you now. Whether that name is available, you will get it. If it's not available, the computer will suggest to you that these are the names can likely go. Once you choose that one, you fill the necessary questions, definitely you will get your registration. Wow. And your certificate will be emailed to you. It will be emailed to you directly. It can be achieved within 5 and 10 minutes. That is the international best practice. If you go into the company house in UK, they are achieving registration within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And this is where we are heading.
Of course, that will stimulate the entire environment. While you might want to comment on that, I also follow up on some of your meetings in recent times with the service providers, also the POS operators. I think you had some meetings with them, and they now have to register. Can you take us through what this means and what the Commission intends to achieve?
It actually, open assumption to the office now, I realize that most of the businesses taking place in Nigeria are not legitimate businesses by the strict meaning of the words. In fact, it is where, as I told you now, we are creation of law and guided by the provisions of the CAMA. Is there stated in section 863 subsection 1 that no one, either as an individual or as association, to carry on any business in Nigeria without registering with the Corporate Affairs Commission. And these POS guys now, they are operating under the agent banking system. Agent banking system, it is a system regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And the extant regulation for that business, it calls Agent Banking Policy 2013. So in that Agent Banking Policy, it stated in paragraph 4 clearly that no one should be given this POS terminal without having a legitimate business 12 months prior to the day he obtained that POS. That's to tell you, you can't be given, you are not eligible. You are not eligible to have a POS unless if you are in legitimate business. And by the provisions of the CAMA, to be a legitimate business, you must register in CAC. And above that, the agent banking entirely, if you go to the paragraph 1, it had listed that agent banking regulation that I'm referring. It has listed the classes of businesses to take place under this POS arrangement. It's only classified into 3. They have agent, they have super agent, they have sole agent. These are the only classes of businesses recognized by the CBN guideline to conduct that POS business. And in the interpretation section, it is clear in that same guideline, all these either agent, super agent, or sole agent, all of them must be an entity.
Okay.
Because it is clearly defined, agent is an entity, sole agent is an entity, super agent is an entity. And what is entity? Whatever is entity is, if you go to check any dictionary, entity now, you must be a registered body recognized by law. That is the reason why we take that crusade to ensure that all these guys that are already boarded in error should be allowed, because ordinarily by the law, the Company and Allied Matters Act, that section 863 subsection 2, it is clear boldly that any person conducted any business in Nigeria without registration should be penalized. In fact, it is a crime in the law in Nigeria. So, because of the Mr. President agenda of financial inclusion, opportunity for the youths, the CAC, having been one of the drivers of the Mr. President policy now, we now say no need of penalizing them. We should help Mr. President in creation of jobs rather than chasing people away. No one should lose his job. No one should be chased out. Instead of that, we now push them. we now make them as a mandatory for them to comply with the provision of the law. We took this argument to the level at the CBN. We moved and convinced them. CBN partner with us. All the necessary security agents, EFCC, NSA office, all of them, they see reason why this registration must be achieved, because of the incessant complaint of fraud taking place in this POS activity. There must be a data of who are they taking this tracking. No country will allow people transacting in business without nobody knows them. It's not possible. How can you be doing business and no one knows you in the country? And they are in part the projection we are talking about, there are millions, there are more than 10 million exist in Nigeria. We had a situation where ransom had been paid through POS. Yes. And if you go to the corner where this issue of kidnapping be rampant now, they get their cash, liquid cash every day from these kidnappers out of the ransom they are receiving from the people. So now that if you have them register now, definitely we have their data. If any incident happen anywhere now, the security had a cost to reach to the CAC for the data of the information, who are the people behind that POS terminal. That is the reason why we say it is important. And we started engaging them since right December last year. December, almost how many months now? 6 months. The timeline is we are just announcing the timeline to just recently now. It will be elapsed 7 July. That is, we are giving them 2 months grace to ensure they have beat up with this issue of registration. And we have not stopped there. I have reached out to the SME. We have understanding and discussion where the SME will now come to their aid, because we have a small businesses component within this POS. Because this POS is like a cloth. All the big giant businesses in Nigeria, they are now taking advantage because the business is porous. Not only those guys that you are seeing in small businesses doing POS with their canopy and whatever. If you go around now, even MTN now, they are into POS business. They have Momo. They call it Momo.
Yeah, money transfer.
If you Airtel, they have it. All the banks in Nigeria now, they now discover that this POS business is one of the thriving business. So they are now created a separate department championing this kind of business. They lower the bar in terms of KYC. Instead of them to ask them when they are registering to come with their NIN, BVN, and evidence of registration with CAC, they are now removed the requirement of CAC. They are now asking them only with TIN. Any bank now will now give you a case to do a new terminal now. And if you go to the big filling station, that's how you see them with terminals, running away from paying tax. If they are using their traditional bank POS, they will have, definitely, their business is being monitored, they will pay tax. But if they use this one that is running under agent banking, there is no mechanism put place to, to compute the tax in that transaction. That's why if you go, that's the pattern everywhere. If the business was porous, everywhere. You have Squat, GT Bank, they have one name called Squat. In these guys, they're operating a lot of them. So we say, no, this business must be regulated. We must have their data. Security agents must have information about any businesses taking place in Nigeria. We are not going to the nano, sorry. We're not going to the nano, market women's. We are talking about these businesses taking place. The small component within the POS business they're using, those that are into small businesses, those with liquid, their capital, they are not up to 50,000 or thereabout now. That's why we are now extending her to the SME, where they can come in to facilitate, if they can support their registration. One, if they can even come up by way of providing training so that to professionalize them. Some of them, they are just victims. Someone will now go and make fraud from another bank, move money to one POS particular point and cash out there in millions and cash out because of that guy lacks adequate knowledge to see who is his customer. He will just give him the money, and after a crime being taken place, that guy will fall victim. So if that guy now pass through at least a training, he will not do that, behave such.
I think there needs to be a lot of awareness and education of Nigerians, because now that you are saying this, the Nigerians are hearing you here. I see clearly that this is really important because it's about security. It's about tracking all of this. I wanted us to stay a little bit again on karma. What really are the positives of this act? for the entire business environment?
No, generally, CAMA, it's one of the, I think it's a promising provision of the law that we have in Nigeria.
Wow.
That provision of the Company Allied Matters Act is not only for the development of business in Nigeria. In fact, for a recovery of business, there are a lot of provisions in it. Because what we are lacking before is lack of enforcing the provisions of CAMA. It's as a result of enforcing the provision of CAMA, the CAC now, under my watch, we are able to identify some provisions that we must enforce. That's the reason why we realized the revenue that we never realized in the history of the Corporate Affairs Commission upon my assumption into the office. Because I end up 20%, only 20% of the registered entities in Nigeria that are cooperating in paying the annual returns. Not even payment of the annual returns. Annual returns is the annual update that CAC requires from any registered entity to give. If you register your business now, at the end of year after ANR, we now come and tell us any update, whether you have changed a line of business, whether you have changed directors or whatever, and you pay some little. So no one is enforcing such. People are doing business. You now give someone license to go and do pharmaceutical business. You find him in real estate. And someone in real estate, he has changed, no update about the company now. So now what we did now, we now, in our system now, we now come up with a solution. Any company at the end of the year, if he has not meet up and tell us what is running, what is doing about his business, will now make him inactive. If you go to the bank, you will not have access to your bank. You will find your account is inactive. If you want to travel, if you go to any embassy now to do business, you find your account inactive. You must come and tell us what you are doing so that the system, the Mr. President agenda of realizing $1 trillion economy is real. We want to formalize everything into the system to ensure that we run the best corporate system in Nigeria.
Let's wrap this up now. What more should we be looking at moving forward? We know there's a lot in the kitty for you as you're churning them out, but what more should we expect maybe moving on before the end of the year from CAC?
No, the CAC, as I earlier told you now, we have put so many things on ground to ensure that we provide seamless services to our customers so that to get a quality service. That's the reason why I have something on ground now to replace the existing company registration portal I have. I'm bringing the one that is computer driven. Instead of when you make your request, you wait for human being to approve. As now, as a result of we are experiencing surge of application as a result of this enforcement. People, if you go to the social media now, you see a backlash. People are complaining, CAC, they are not doing it because it's human being. Too much application coming, they are waiting for human being. I'm bringing a solution to the country that at the end of all these things, before, by God's grace, within this year, we can able to achieve. No one will have any issue, any hindrance if you are relating with corporate quality service. And I'm going to make my organization the best place to work.
That's also very important. Thank you so much for that. I'll be speaking to Mr. Hosseini Ishaq Magaji. He's the Registrar General, SAN, yes. He is a Registrar General and Chief Executive Officer at the Corporate Affairs Commission. Thank you so much. We hope to have you again on the program. Updates and developments all around us.
Thank you, Tola. Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Thank you very
well,
much.
let's take a break.